I do record these little chats. I've been recording them for 5 years now, and I just pack them onto my little YouTube channel, and occasionally people stumble across them, and maybe they'll hear something that they find important. Maybe they'll hear an idea that they really don't like, and then that will stimulate in them an idea that they really do like. One of my precepts of life coaching is when you know what you don't want, it helps to clarify what you do want. Hi, Looney. Looney's halfway between relaxed and swishy tail. He's not so much into Dharma talks. I love you, guy. Anyway, I'm not sure he likes the topic this week, God. You don't see a lot of animals going to church or in the spiritual part of the bookstore. They seem to have an ongoing conscious contact with their source, and they don't have to work it out with priests and spiritual systems and various organizations and institutions. We humans are a more troublesome species, it seems. Anyway, so we're talking about God, and maybe you like the topic, maybe it interests you, maybe you don't even like the word. There's such a variance of opinion and thinking about God, and isn't this probably a good thing? If we all thought or considered God in the same way, we would all be the same person. Think about that for a moment. If we all had the exact same idea of God, what God is, who God is, how God operates, and God's name or presence in our life, we would largely be the same person. And that is not the way the universe appears to be constructed. It seems to me, and again, I'm not here to preach or to proselytize, but to suggest, and also my own experience, it seems to me like we are all individualizations of consciousness, I guess you might say, sparks of the divine, pinpricks of the infinite, however it is you might say it. We're all individual dollops of consciousness. Oh, that does it. I'm out of here. Give me some half and half, would you? Anyway, we're all dollops of consciousness is one unusual way to say it. But with that in mind, it seems as though that whatever our concept of God is or isn't, it probably has changed over the years, hasn't it? Some people start with God and then wash their hands with it. Some people were raised with none of it, and then they find it later in life. Some people are raised with a particular idea of God, and then it seems to expand and increase or change or alter into something different. It never has to be fixed, it seems. So this week I'm examining the idea, can we come up with better, higher, more intelligent, more productive and powerful ideas about God? And it seems to me that one of the things that we all mature through as we grow up is perhaps this childish idea of God as a person or a corporate or corporeal being somewhere off in space, big guy with a beard, right? So some of us were raised with that idea, some of us weren't. I really wasn't, but some of us are. But we all have this opportunity to update and upgrade our idea about God. And one of the ideas that I have encountered in my spiritual search is this. For me, it was a radical awakening. And it probably came in the form of a little pamphlet written by a great spiritual author from about 100 years ago named Emmett Fox. But the little pamphlet that I may have read when I was 20 years old, when I was immersed in a wide smorgasbord of spiritual literature from all traditions. But this little pamphlet just said, God is consciousness. God is not a being. God, take off the preposition. God is being itself. Now, if God is being itself, and I'm clearly being, are you being? Right now, do you have a sense of being and of presence? Well, then this may very well be the image of God that we're made in. We all share in consciousness. But there's one thing that I do know, is that I am not infinitely consciousness. I am not all of consciousness. I'm certainly not your consciousness. I'm not the consciousness of my cat or trees or birds or insects, but I do have my own personal window on consciousness, I guess you might say. And my window of consciousness seems to be growing. It seems to be expanding. Now, this is because I've gone through very painful periods of my consciousness contracting or getting smaller. There's a phrase in the recovery movement that I really like. It says that we're seeking conscious contact with the infinite or with God or with presence or with love or with source or with cosmic mind. And this is the reason I'm seeking conscious contact, is because of all the unconscious contact that I have. Now, I'm of the opinion, this is my opinion, that everybody has unconscious contact with God. The question is, in this lifetime, how much more conscious awareness will we get? How much more actual, tangible, real, productive, meaningful, healing, loving, conscious contact will I get, will you get? And that seems to be the whole game. That seems to be the work, the regimen. That seems to be the discipline, the fun, the challenge, the growth, the misery, the suffering, all rolled into this amalgam of gaining more conscious contact. But whatever conscious contact I have this day, I know there's infinity left over. However big my little pinprick of consciousness, my window of reality grows, and I'm grateful that it is. I'm always pushing out into a wider boundary. This is why the saying, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know, is so significant. I'm always pushing out into a wider boundary of what I don't know. This makes life interesting, fascinating, challenging. But today I found my prayer was, God, I need a sign and a wonder. I need to be reminded of all the more conscious contact, all the more health, love, and light that's available to me. I've been feeling a little, bereft of that, a little discouraged, a little dry, if you will. And do you ever go through periods like that? I sure do. But I know that if I stick with the regimen, I talk with my friends, I do my meditation and my prayer, I keep trying to do the next right thing, I suffer productively when I need to, I keep petting my cat, washing my clothes, carrying water and chopping wood, that day by day, my little pinprick of consciousness continues to grow. And I like it. I really like that. And I like sharing that with my friends. And I hope you get a big dollop of more conscious contact today. Anyway, that's all I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Go expand your window on the infinite.